Have you been thinking about becoming a software developer? Maybe you would like to build beautiful website or games or mobile applications? Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll give you an introduction to programming. So, let's first determine what a program is. A program is a set of instructions that a computer follows to complete a task. And programs are written in different programming languages. You might have heard C Sharp, Java, JavaScript, and C++. Those are called programming language. Imagine you have a friend and you want to hand them over your favorite recipe, but you soon realize that your friend only understands Arabic. So you may use an interpreter to translate your recipe from English to Arabic. So that's what programming is. Computers only understands ones and zeros. So how do you take your English instructions and hand them over to your computer? So you use a programming language because something like C Sharp, which is a programming language, they have C Sharp has something called a compiler. So the compiler will take your code written in English and compile it into ones and zero. That's pretty much what programming is. So let's look at a few terms that you may hear. Something that you need to learn first is called a syntax. A syntax is a set of rules that dictates how programs must be structured. Just like learning a new language, if you learn English, you have to learn the grammar. It's the same thing. Different programming language comes with different syntax. And the next term that you would hear is flow control. Imagine you are building an application that displays appropriate movies depending on somebody's age. So you may ask the user, what is your age? And if you would write something like, if the user is between 2 and 5, I want you to show kids movies. Else, show something else. So that's called flow control. Another thing you would hear is error handling. What happens if you ask for the user for their age, but they input their name? So, your program, you as a good programmer, would have to create a system that handles those errors. So, that may be asking the user to re enter their age instead of their names. Something else that you would have to get are certain tools. So, where do programmers write these code, right? Um, we use a code editor or IDE, Integrated Development Environment, and there are a few common ones that are Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. These are free IDEs that you can just install on your computer. And of course, you would need a browser, especially if you're doing web development. You would need something like Google Chrome or Firefox to test your website. Now, let's look at a statement. I am giving the computer instruction to print hello world to the screen. In C Sharp, you would use console.writeline hello world. And so on the left, you can see that's the syntax in C Sharp. So depending on what you're trying to print, if I want to say my name is, then I would replace the hello world with what I'm trying to print. So my name is. And when you compile this, when you run this code, the compiler would compile it into machine code and I would see hello world in my screen. So a console is something that you would use a lot, especially for testing your application. So that's pretty much it. But where do you go from here? You may be more confused. And one big mistake that new programmers make is to learn all the programming language. But I'm here to tell you, don't do it. You don't need to know all of these programming language to be a software developer. Instead, a good place to start is to identify what is your goal. What are you trying to do with this new skill? Are you trying to build apps? Are you trying to build mobile games? Are you trying to do artificial intelligence? Depending on this, you would have to choose the right career path. And I have a video on that. So make sure you share, subscribe, and like, and I'll see you there.